That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, Edgy-boy. Give me your pants! You're married! Edgy-boy? Even the vampire! I found the vampire's weakness! October 18th, 10 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Oh, hello, people. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Back again, I see you, vampire! Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in the Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution will call its first witness. Very well. I call the most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. What? Why are we constantly calling on Gumshoe? He's proven time and again that he sucks as a detective! Will it be proven like a third time? Okay. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studios, see? This here is the employee area. The actors didn't run through their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. I don't... Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where their body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer. The defendant, Will Powers. And a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then, after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. A samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? Skip it, skip it, skip it. I don't need to hear it again. I think I could probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear? How? Medieval. Medieval? Samurai spear added to the court record. Your Honor, I haven't seen something like this in a century. It is so long ago. But I can still taste the silver from when someone tried to pierce my own heart with a silver spear, believing I was a werewolf, when in fact I am a vampire! Where am I going on about this? This case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Security lady. Hello, creepy granny. No hard candy, please. Will the witness declare her name? Huh? What is that face? What is this face? Oh my, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. You seem to drain all my blood away, dear vampire boy. What the frick? Creepy Granny! Your name, please. Oh, dearie. No need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. And you probably can call me Mommy in bed later. I hate that I did that. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Windy Oldbag, dearie. Why is your actual name Oldbag? Old Windbag, okay. So just call me Grandma, so even though I was young, still how the other children believe it. But this was the boy. He called me an old bag. Well, objection! I object to this witness talking this. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? You see, I was. You see? You see, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You're as old as him! Wait, are you older? Are you older than the judge? How old are you? You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. Okay. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the court station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. I can never forget the werewolf man. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I think I gotta press her. What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper! I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching there the whole time? No breaks, not even a second? Of course! I am a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, just after seeing you eating those donuts at the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time! I have hands, don't I? You young snipper-wapper! Snipper-wapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. What? Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. 2? You're sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was the man? Really, you should try not to get excited at your age. You might strain something, dearie. Wait, is she married? I see the ring on her finger. She's married and she's hitting on everybody. Married old lady, what the frick? Oh, no, don't get your skivvies on in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. Then I can go back to my husband, Arnold. It was Powers, the man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. So you saw Mr. Powers? That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, sonny. Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. Oh, you mean this Powers? Are you sure it was Powers and not someone wearing his costume? Let me get this straight, Oldbag. Miss Oldbag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. Are you also a Steel Samurai fan? What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai Defender of Neo Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't! There's only so much of this old hag that I can take. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai! I know that! I wasn't born yesterday! No one in this court is accusing you of that, Mr. Witness. He's having trouble calling her Oldbag, apparently. That's her name! However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Even Edgeworth is surprised. Of course he is. This old lady has no clue what she's even talking about. Her 15 minutes of fame, she's got to make it last as long as she can. She probably doesn't even have 15 minutes left. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please, make note all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you! Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look! Wow, old Moonbag was left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The man in the photo? I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You see he's dragging his leg? See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Squills, yes. Until she squills! Until she grows quills. What? I'm gonna press on everything. Whippersnapper! Hey, I haven't said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. The up and up. You today always whining about each other. It's enough to make an old... But... Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has his match. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene... Who was present at that run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such. So she didn't see the run-through then. Saw Powers trip and fall. Trip and fall? Yes. And to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai! What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. What? What? Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Why is that relevant? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. He broke a prop? Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon? Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. Samurai spear updated the court record. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. No, we haven't! Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is... Where's the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we can find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? It is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Object! Object! Hold it right there! We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Tisk, tisk. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. Witness account, continue. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So, if no one else went to the studio, then it wouldn't have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. The time of poor... How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything. I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officers' fondness for donuts. I hydrated. Happy? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Powers. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite sunny. Nobody's suspicious looking past by at all. Nobody's suspicious looking. Right. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before one? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. It's not like anyone could hop the fence, not to mention. If they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, Edgy-boy. Crazy, give me your pants! You're married! Edgy-boy? Even the vampire! I found the vampire's weakness! Old Windbag sure has balls. Or, well, you know what I mean. Old Windbags have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or, for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to say forward to, perhaps? Then the time of poor Hammersteff was 2:30 p.m. True. Are you sure, though? Are you sure? Let me present this. Oh! Music changed! Hold on! Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So, whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here, I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. Have very computer print out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know what that means. It was taken on this 2 p.m. on October the 15th. Really, Sonny. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Please, tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's why I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet, there is only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access! The security lady herself! Do you watch your mouth when you get my snapper? The only person I saw that day was Will Powers! But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it seemed to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I want to understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy-boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too! Why did it go dark? Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right! I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai? Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Other person. Who's the other person? Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one more other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny. I only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this is a term for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. The day after I fish. Okay, and what is that photo? Well, who in the heck was it that photo you erased? Ooh, a fanboy. So, fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second. Did he say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. The ones that refuse to get off my lawn? Kids. So, on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order! Order! I demand order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for your young boy to yield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. And that's why I erased the data. Nick? What's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, they're already trying to unsuspect him. Probably because it's a kid. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. Of the fact that a child could have killed. And no forgetting vital information this time. That does include children. October 18th, 11:08 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 3. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest! So, who was the Steel Samurai in the security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I can imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're You're the only likely suspect right now. The heck? What are we going to do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Like the second or third grader. Right? I am hungry. I do need food. And it will take them so long to shoot us down that we that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. Don't worry your pretty little head, Mr. Werewolf. Here, have a bone. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick. It's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Oh, we're dealing with the old lady still. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. But there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order! Interesting. Let's hear who you have in mind. However, if it is the said boy, I will not tolerate it. Be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. You're accusing the innocent every day! What are you talking about? If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough! So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? It's grade school boy. It was the grade school boy! Why silence? A child get murdered? Why is anyone saying anything? Bah! Are you seriously suggesting the boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran action star with spear. And for one thing, the murder weapon was with the Steel Samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him? Maybe that was a dumb move on my part. Maybe? How about absolutely, Nick? Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you, as I warned. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. May we move on, Mr. Wright? Grr, this fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please. Very well, go ahead. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? The assistant girl! It was the assistant! Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. I'm gonna continue shoving this poor, innocent girl under the bus for me to continue and prove Powers innocent. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh. Uh-oh. Bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury? Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me? What about the assistant? Oh, her. She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She would have been limped. She wouldn't have been limped. That guy takes the legs up from under that case. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I had to penalize you, as I warned, yet again. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. May we move on, Mr. Wright? This isn't over. Still have one more guess. The security lady! Creepy lady! Creepy granny! It was the security lady! Wendy Oldbag! Who? The steel samurai is dragging his leg in the picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they have been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper? Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you! Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the steel samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder! Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in the costume, she would point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes too, baby! I'm the new Sherlock Holmes in this town! That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objective with some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it? Is that it? Well, you're not getting my old refined blood. No, you won't get it, you vampire. Not anymore. Edgy-boy. I'll just sit there, do something. Maybe I do have my vintage blood. What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to make this... to take this the whole way. Press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. I did it. Now Windback is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased! Why do you say the boy with such conviction? I made her say it with conviction. Never mind. He's only a grade schooler, though. As you said, 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops. Why were you pinning your old man? Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is it to be nice for the kids and mean to your elders' day? Whippersnapper! I have proof. Proof? Indeed. Well, let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed the murder. Murder weapon. Let's do... wait. What's my proof? Is it the murder weapon? Your Honor. The murder weapon was the samurai spear. The very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. It's the same argument you guys had when I blamed the boy, and yet you all also accuse me. Why did you forget the fact that the accusing that you did to me? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag. Speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Wendy. What was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this Oldbag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Wait a second! I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me! I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? But by whom? Huh? I mean, it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. My lips were sealed. What? Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. Then why is there only 2 photos? They said they had nothing to do with it, see. So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free! Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, you don't. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the Oldbag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. My lips were sealed. What was this thing? So you were told not to talk? That's right. By the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course! Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. Half where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but continue cross-examination. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder. I know that's Sonny. Silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and you still talked? I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. I guess there's no harm in me getting as much info as I can. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people. Well, they told me just to pretend that they hadn't been at the studio that day. Them? Who were these people? Oh. Well, the director and the producer. The director and producer. I already know about the director and the producer. 2? Oh my gosh, Studio 2! And the broken monkey! Oh no! Okay, yeah. That was all of my questions. Your Honor. We have learned there were others of the global studios on the day in question. The director and the producer, and some big ones, were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag. More information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. October 18th, 1:04 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Oh, really? It's nothing. Grin. Oh, or should I... What, sniff? Are you sniffing him? Are you smelling the werewolf? Why are you smelling the werewolf? We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up at the next trial as witness for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in the Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been Old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right. We'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks. Thanks, guys. To be continued. And I am gonna end it here because it's getting harder and harder to talk with my stuffy nose. Anyway, hope you all have a good night, good day, whatever time it is for you, and we'll figure out who actually killed. Because unlike the other two murders, it didn't show me who actually killed. It just showed me a clip from the old samurai thing, so I'm very confused. Anyway, see ya! Goodbye!